Christopher Lambert as Jack LaRowland. David Arquette as Bobby. Josh Brolin as Tom. Christopher McDonald as Glenn.
Craig Sheffer as Cliff.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Rich. Director Duran Serafian bring you What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another Hi-Fi Stereo movie review. Today I'm reviewing probably my favorite, I'm going to call it my favorite B-movie that's probably the most obscure, that probably a lot of people don't know about. And that, of course, as you saw from the title, is The Road Killers from 1994. So, pretty good cast, especially, you know, looking back on it now. Now, at the time, you know, a lot of people was younger in it, of course, like Josh Brolin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, David Arquette, you know, okay. But at the time, it still had some, also some pretty well-known faces, you know, Christopher McDonald, Christopher Lambert, Craig Sheffer. A lot of people might know Craig Sheffer from Nightbreed. That was a pretty popular one amongst like the horror fans, I would say. But yeah, Christopher McDonald's been in a lot of movies. So is Christopher Lambert. But yeah, I remember renting this movie for the first time from this local place that was called Heath Video. And it was like a mom and pop, you know, video store, right? That's where I first remember watching this movie. It was as a rental, you know. Now this is of course this is my VHS copy. Now I'm actually not sure where I got this. It was either a local pickup at Goodwill or good old trusty eBay. Those are my two sources for getting movies on VHS. So one of the two. I honestly can't remember. You know, I have had this one for a while. I'm going to say a number of years. So since it's been that long, I honestly can't remember. I've bought so many movies. You know, it's hard to remember exactly each and every one, like where you got it at. But yeah, this is it's a pretty good movie. I'm going to call it like an I don't want to really call it an action movie. There is like some action sequences in it. But I'm going to call it more like a suspense thriller, crime drama with a few action sequences sprinkled in. That's about the best way I can describe it. But yeah, it just starts out this family, you know, they're just this family and their friends. They're just traveling together across country. They're headed out west. I think they're traveling to San Diego, right? So they're somewhat east, and they're headed west. So they're just traveling out there vacationing, and you know, they cross paths with this, I'm going to say, this small group of people.
So they're broke down along the road, and the little boy almost gets ran over.
It's like 4 or 5 people in the gang. I guess you could call them a gang, but they're just kind of, you'll see, like, even by like the reactions of the locals there, they like, oh boy, here's trouble, you know, I'm getting out of here. Or you know, they might be like, yeah, I'm not sticking around for this because we know who these people are and they're trouble, right? I guess that's the best way to say it. It's they're just kind of like, you know, they're younger, of course, and they're just people you probably wouldn't want to hang around. You know, they kind of get into mischief, and they're just trouble, right? They're riffraff, as some people would call them. But yeah, things are okay until, you know, there's a Christopher McDonald's character, Glenn. You know, his son is nearly ran over by the gang, right? And they're at high speed, and they're, you know, big El Dorado, right? So that's kind of where the trouble starts, and then they actually, you know, at first it's just like a drive-by, okay, but then they end up crossing each other's path again at a local diner, and then that's kind of when things start brewing there, you know. It's like, okay, here they are, so there's a confrontation there, and it just kind of escalates.
You nearly killed my son out on the road today.
Well, he's okay, ain't he?
Yeah, he's fine.
All right, then.
Glenn. Oh, I'm sorry.
Glenn.
No,
Glenn.
you're okay, huh? Right?
You know, also the leader of the gang, you know, he kind of had his eye on Jack's daughter, okay? So he kind of became infatuated with her and wanted a thing with her. She kind of like led him on, and then she, you know, basically like backed out of it. So that kind of was, you know, like kind of probably pissed him off a little bit. But then, so between that and then the confrontation with Glenn, you know, it just escalates. So it's kind of like off and running at that point.
Some people, I'll tell you. You go right with Jack.
Dad, no, calm down!
I made it. You go now.
You going to jail?
Can't go to jail. Jack, no!
So yeah, it kind of like becomes like a hostage situation where they basically have been, you know, the family's been kidnapped, where, you know, the two adult males that was, have been taken out of the equation, and now this, this group of unscrupulous people, we could call them that, has basically kidnapped this family. The three remaining members there, the mom and the daughter and the son. Okay, so, and then also later on, Cliff, the leader of the gang, his brother shows up. His older brother shows up, and he's like a hooligan too, so he does adds to it, right? It's like, man, you feel for this family. It's like, how are they gonna escape this, right? This nightmare. The police do get involved, or try to get involved and try to, make inquiries, but then Cliff is ready for him,
Goddamn peeping Tom. Oh. Come on.
And then it just culminates to a head there where the state troopers and reinforcements are called in, and then there's basically like a standoff,
Saturday's child.
I will say this about this movie, and I think the climactic ending, right? The climactic ending to this movie, I still love it. It's like, when I say climactic ending, I mean, yeah, it's like most movies, it's like, okay, you have the climax, and then it's like, okay, after that, you have it's like downtime, but the movie's not over. The movie's not over, right? But it's still some like downtime. It's like, okay, the threat is over. Everybody's okay. Gives hugs and kisses, huggies, right? And then you see the credits. Now this movie is not like that. This is like the one movie I can think of where you have the climax, and then bam, cut to credits. It's like, that's pretty cool. That's like a pretty cool ending. I remember even the guy that was at Heath Video, his name was Harold. I remember even like back then, I remember he even like made that comment. It's like he said he just said it had a great ending, right? It's the way they ended it. It's like the climax happens, and it's like cut to the credits. It's like, wow. It just, I don't know. It just had an impact, right? But yeah, I would say this movie is worth a watch. And I obviously, right, because I'm doing a review on it. Personally, I've watched it several times over the years. I pull it out every so often, maybe once every year and a half or two, right? I'll pull it out and give it another watch. It's good. It's a good thriller, suspense, crime drama, and yeah, there's. And as far as the characters and the actors go, they're pretty solid. Christopher Lambert is solid. So is Christopher McDonald. Although Christopher McDonald, I would say the amount of screen time he has, he did pretty good for what he had to work with. I would say, with the screen time he had, he actually kind of probably outperformed Christopher Lambert. Okay, I just think he's a better actor overall. Craig Sheffer, pretty solid as the villain, but really, the one that stands out to me is a young Josh Brolin. Okay, again, like Christopher McDonald, he doesn't have a lot of screen time. He's not like, you know, he's kind of like a side character, but the time he is on screen, he actually like gives a good performance. You know, he's part of the gang, right? But yet he has a sense of morality about him, and he brings a sense of humanity to it. It's like because he stops and realizes they shouldn't be doing this stuff.
What are we gonna do? They don't get away with this. People don't get away with this.
Come on, knock it off.
Come on, they don't. This is real life. This is a living human being. You're wrong. He's wrong. He's been wrong this whole time. 42 times. 0.5. You see how this whole thing is wrong?
For whatever reason, he was drawn to Cliff. You know, Cliff is the leader. Maybe, you know, Cliff gave him some kind of acceptance, right? That happens. But at the same time, as it progresses through, Tom starts to see, like, this ain't right, you know, and you can see it in the performance, and like I said, a sense of humanity. Probably the one that brings humanity to the film the most, right, is Josh Brolin as Tom. His performance just kind of stood out to me, right? So overall, The Road Killers, it's a B movie. You may never even heard of it. It's a B movie from the 90s, 1994. But like I said, I seen this on the shelf at my local video rental shop, and it's like, oh, okay, the cover looks interesting. I'm intrigued. Let me check it out. And yeah, so it's not, it didn't win any awards or anything like that. But then again, I like a lot of movies that don't win awards, and there's a lot of movies that do win awards where I find boring and not interested. It's like, it's got to have some certain elements to keep my interest, right? And this movie did it. For a low budget movie, and what they had to work with, I think they pulled it off. I don't think they could have done much better, honestly. It's like, for what they, for a low budget movie, it's like, okay, it's pretty solid. So I give them credit for that. So I give it 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up, even though it's a B movie, right? So there's the front, and then there's the back. There's a car flipped over, because they played chicken, and then there's Cliff on the back. Not too many pictures, just him there, and then the car on the highway. A lot of times I like to do movies like this where it's like, probably a good chance you don't know about it, and I think it's good enough to recommend it as a watch. The Road Killers. Check it out and leave me your thoughts about the movie in the comment section below, if you've seen it or if you're gonna see it. Let me know, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So that's going to do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed this Hi-Fi Stereo movie review. But if this is your first time to the channel, tap the subscribe button and the bell next to it, ding ding. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. So until next time, guys, keep it retro.